you're probably the only AI-based university.
So we are the first in India. We are the third in the world.
Wow.
There are two more, one in France and one in Abu Dhabi. And we are the third. AI is fundamental to whatever we do. So when you join our university, you will have to learn what we call the Fab Five. That's the first thing you do when you step into our university. So you'll understand AI fundamentals. You understand AI ethics and governance. You understand prompt engineering. You understand AI, Python, and all the tools you need. And then you use AI to create opportunities and entrepreneurship ideas for yourself. So that's your foundational.
If you can tell us what are the sort of courses that you are offering?
We have 5 schools. We have the business school, the technology, AI and future technology school. We have the design school, school of music, sound and cinematics, and we have a school of liberal arts and behavioral sciences. So these are our 5 schools.
The college is more practical and the learning is more practical.
Correct. So we, from the outset, believe that the old classrooms are dead. If you have to transform the learning space, it has to be engagement oriented, experiential oriented, emotion oriented. That's when learning becomes fun.
Hello, welcome to yet another episode of Education Matters by JK. Today we have a very special guest. He's a gentleman from the future. I don't call him a man from the future because he's given an amazing TEDx talk. I call him man from the future because he is the founder and chancellor of Universal AI University, India's first AI-based university. So let's welcome Mr. Tarun Anand.
Thank
welcome
you so
to the
much.
show.
Thank you so much.
Banking, media houses, and new avatar. 2019, you got into education?
2009.
2009. Wow. So almost 16 years back. What brought you into education? I asked this question is because, even I started as something else and then I moved to advertising. So it really fascinates me that being very successful in whatever you were doing, you left all that. You were a globetrotter. You were working in various countries. Your last stint, I think, was in US. You quit all that and you decided to dedicate your life to education. So talk to us about that.
So it's been a fascinating journey. Having worked in 60 countries, I thought I wanted to come back to India.
Mhm.
And the big opportunity was to give back to India. What I had learned in my corporate career for spanning nearly 2 decades in various countries around the world. So I said, if I come back to India, I want to give back to India. Every time I went at the World Economic Forum, all the leaders would say education is the panacea to solve all the problems. So I said, okay, then I'm going to go into education. Now, education is vast. So I said, okay, I know business education. So I started with business education. The AI journey was incidentally very, core to what I did. I used to work in Chicago with the biggest hedge funds in the world. They would take truckloads of our data, going back 50 years, put it in their algorithms, which they would predict the markets and do low latency, high frequency trading. So I saw it in 2006, this entire thing, which we call machine learning, in front of my eyes. My clients were using it. And then step forward, I met a couple of Stanford professors, and they said very interestingly that, we have designed, and they showed me the algorithm, that the speed at which a student walks from his student apartment hostel to the classroom, we can determine whether he or she is a suicide candidate or not. I was like, that was my aha moment. I said, this is something magical. This is something that can change uh, pretty much every industry, including education. I'd like to make the first step forward.
Wow. Uh, you know, uh, it's very interesting, right? In 2006, I think it was still analytical models and, uh, algorithms which was trying to predictive algorithm mostly. AI was still at a very nascent stage. I mean, it's still AI. We don't know the capabilities of what AI is going to do. So when you started in 2009, was that your moment where you thought that AI is going to be part of everything that we do in the university?
No, so at that point, I wanted to set up a education institution. So we got 40 acres of land. We built up the infrastructure. We wanted to create a world-class education institution. AI was there at the background, but it wasn't the first step. And then when we decided that the problems of the world are very complex, the
Hmm.
only way to solve these complex problems is to have multidisciplinary learning. So you want person from design, you want a person from liberal arts, you want a person from technology, management, various fields. When they come together, then only you can solve the toughest problems that this planet faces. And so that's when we said, okay, we need to create a university from a school. And that's when we said, okay, AI, we will go double down on AI to
Hmm.
solve some of the complex problems.
So this was in 2009, or when was the aha?
2018,
In 2018
yeah,
is
we
when
applied for the university
university
as an
status.
AI university.
Oh, nice. And you're probably the only AI based university.
So we are the first in India. We are the third in the world.
Wow.
There are two more, one in France and one in Abu Dhabi, and we are the third.
Oh, awesome. You know what I like about your approach is that you're very clear with all the courses that you have, that uh, you know it's multidisciplinary, right? And I really like that you've added humanities as part of your offering at the university, because I think in the world which is going digital too quickly, we are not focusing too much on the human aspect of because finally everything that humans have created is to serve humanity, right? And if humanity as a subject is not studied properly, then I think it's all going to fail. So talk to us more about the courses that you offer, because so for all the viewers who are watching this, the university is based in Karjat, which is a few kilometers outside Mumbai, very accessible from by road and by train. And we will give out the URL of the university. So if you would like to know more, after the chat, you can do that as well. But yeah, Mr. Tarun, if you can tell us what are the sort of courses that you are offering, and also the sort of profile that you're looking for in students, that these are the typical students that we want to attract, and this is the future, waiting for them.
Great. Thank you. So we have five schools. We have the business school, the technology, AI, and future technology school. We have the design school, the school of music, sound, and cinematics, and we have a school of liberal arts and behavioral sciences. So these are our five schools. So you can either do a BTech for 4 years in two schools, which is the technology school or the sound engineering school. You could do a B design, which is a Bachelor of Design for 4 years in our design school. You could do a business management degree, undergrad, postgrad from our school, or you could do it in our liberal arts school, where you could do a school in psychology honors. So these are the schools. What we said is AI is fundamental to whatever we do. So when you join our university, you will have to learn what we call the Fab Five. That's the first thing you do when you step into our university. So you'll understand AI fundamentals, you understand AI ethics and governance, you understand prompt engineering, you understand AI, Python, and all the tools you need. And then you use AI to create opportunities and entrepreneurship ideas for yourself. So that's your foundational. Now, once you have that foundation, which we call the power users, which is what we want to create, you go into your respective fields, whether it's psychology, using AI to solve issues in psychology, using AI to solve issues in marketing, finance, supply chain, using issues to solve for. So that's our base, that we want you to be power users of AI so that you can go into industry and essentially be running from day one, solving industry problems.
And the sort of students that you attract.
So we attract students today from 28 states in the country today on my campus, and 7 countries are now studying on our campus. Overall, we've attracted students from more than 20 countries in the world who've come and studied at us. So we like diversity. We have one of the highest female ratios, which we are very proud of. But what we're looking for is the curious mind. What we're looking for is someone who is going to be thinking, how can I use this technology for good? And that's in our ethos, right? What can you do that will impact industry, impact government, impact society positively using AI?
Hmm. And and do you have a lot of faculty from the industry who come in and talk about how they are using AI in the real world?
Absolutely. So we have to be honest, we've got the best American faculty from leading universities, thanks to our vice chancellor, who brings them in for these you know teaching our students. We also have tried with international faculty, so three faculty from three different countries, two continents, teaching you a subject. That's how fascinating it is to learn at our university, having that kind of ability.
Hmm. And how do the students see this? Do they see this as very challenging, very difficult to understand, or it's a very natural, um, you know, a very, what do you call it, natural blend into what the society is now, right? Any student doing whatever, they'll always reach out to their phones and do some basic research on Chat GPTs
Yes.
or Geminis of the world.
So they are absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. These guys are, wow. They just take to technology. For us, it was, we had to get to it
Yeah.
and make a conscious effort. For them, it is natural to them. So they are on it. In fact, they are way ahead of in terms of what they do. They use it. I've been blown by students. So I have from 7 to 9 p.m. students come to me, and week after week, I get amazed at the kind of ideas they come in. So in an engineering degree, you need to do a final project, which is the six. You create a product at the end of your fourth year. Our students do it in semester one, year one, where they're
Wow.
creating products, taking it, winning hackathons around the world, competing with the best universities in the world. So I'm just blown away.
Wow, that's amazing. Is it your college, or you think the general attitude towards education is different?
So I think, it's an open mindedness and allowing fluidity. If you do not put these shackles on them, they're going to go crazy
So it's
in
not the
exploration.
traditional way of you have to only do this, and you
Absolutely not.
can't go beyond this. We'll talk
Absolutely
about this in the second semester. It's not
no.
like that.
So we have a company on campus,
Oh
a
wow.
private limited company, 100% run by students. They come up with the ideas, they hire, they fire, they make profits, they make losses, they take it to market. That's reeling in.
That's real world
That's
knowledge,
the
right?
real world.
And it's difficult to acquire at that age. So
Absolutely.
kudos to you and your team. I think you're doing a fab job.
Thank you.
So we can talk more about how the college functions, and how big is the campus. You said about
It's 40 acres.
40
Yeah.
acres, and it's a residential college.
It's a residential college. 98% are residents.
Yeah.
A few locals would come in.
would travel, and uh, and what is the environment? Is it from what you're saying, it looks like a very modern environment where people are discussing ideas, and it's not like a typical college where you're just going to get your attendance done so that
Yeah.
you can. So it's more practical. The college is more practical, and the learning is more practical.
Correct. So we, from the outset, have believed that the old classrooms are dead. Gone is the time where you have the patience to listen to a faculty come in and teach. That's what I tell my faculty. They already know it. So if you have to transform the learning space, it has to be engagement oriented, experiential oriented, emotion oriented. That's when learning becomes fun. So I keep out the challenge to my faculty that at the end of the week, your students should have said they had fun. The only way to have fun is when you engage with the learning. So create models. So, whether a simple game like making sandwiches is created to get them understanding debottlenecking. They have a Thomson Reuters trading room where they trade global markets in real time. Let's say you have a loss of, let's say, $50,000. You actually go in, and the beauty of education comes in where they ask, why did that happen to me? That why is the most important thing. Then they go deep down and they understand, okay, bond markets crashed. They crashed because there was high inflation, high interest rates, because of quantitative easing in that particular location. Now, that learning is like what we call learning to ride a bike. Did you learn to ride a bike with a book? No. You rewrote it.
Yeah.
You now understand it. Now it stays with you for life. That's how learning should be.
It's a beautiful analogy, because I don't think so anybody's ever learned to ride a bike by reading a book or understanding
Correct.
physics and balance and
Correct.
principles of balance, right? I
Correct.
mean, they've all understood it by just doing it,
Correct.
right? So a great example. Uh, I have some more questions on because I find this fascinating, and I hope I knew about your college maybe a year earlier, because I my daughter just moved to a degree college, and it would have been awesome if
Yep.
she would have done this. But tell me, how's industry supporting your students? How do they get placed, or I mean, what is the
Yeah,
process? Yeah.
sure. So for our BTech degree, we first went and aligned with LTI Mindtree, which is a multi $10 billion corporation. We went to them, please design our curriculum. They threw us out. They said, no, we don't do that. Then we pushed it. They again said no, because we've done this in the past and colleges cherry pick a couple of subjects and do it. We're not doing that. So I gave them the assurance that you guys put the curriculum together, we will follow it 100%. That's when they worked on it. Now, what's the value of that curriculum? It's a 100% industry curriculum which we deliver on campus. So what happens is they pick up 3,000 students every year from various engineering colleges. After the 4-year degree, they put them through 6 months training to get them ready. They said, with our curriculum, your students don't have to go through that six
Wow.
months. Plus, they will be ready 6 months earlier because they're learning AI from year one.
Hmm.
So your students will be 1 year ahead of the game, and that's a huge advantage. So like that, the university has a board of 60 global CEOs from leading corporations like JP Morgan, Deutsche, Barclays, GE, Novartis, and what have you, DHL, and so on. So these, therefore, it's very, very privilege for us that such industry leaders are backing us. When the industry sees that these are the people, we get recruiters in hordes. They come and they recruit from our students.
Right. So I think it is fabulous that so many people are already visualizing the same sort of future, how AI is going to integrate into the workforce. And so going back to more generic or philosophical question, away from your college a little bit, uh, how do you see the future with AI?
So I see the future very bright. Firstly, there is obviously an element of it saying it's going to take jobs, and so that's the substitution effect. I'm looking at it. You can see the glass half full or half empty. For me, it's the complementarity that AI brings it, the augmentation that it does. It takes care, so you can become superhuman. So yes, AI will take your jobs to the next level. And if you lose your job, it'll be because of someone who knows AI, not because someone who doesn't know AI. So clearly, what happens is, and I think there's going to be a massive explosion of jobs. This isn't something you don't hear. You hear
Hmm.
everybody saying AI is going to take this job, that job. I'm saying there's an explosion. I'm going to give you one example. So, these large machines that, let's say, turbines, these are multi million dollar turbines. Now, industry wants to predict when will these turbine fail, or when will parts be required. So it's what they call preventive maintenance of these, because it's mission critical, so you need to know in advance. You can't now holding spares also is a carrying cost. So we are working with industry to create this essentially intelligence for those machines. How do we do that? We do that by creating what is called a digital twin of that machine. Now, it takes close to 8 to 10 engineers, scientists, data analysts to put this together. Now, that's just one machine taking 8 or 10 people to build. As now, imagine the number of machines in the world. It's just crazy. I mean, I don't even have a number. I probably
Hmm.
do research after this so that I have a number. Billions and billions of machines, each having a digital twin. Now, put that aside. This is one side. Look at human beings. We are 8 billion on the planet. We go through surgeries. Every one of us is going to have a digital twin created before we go into surgery, so that all the parameters are, there's no surprises, anything going wrong, because everybody's different, right? Each of us is beautifully different. So Before every surgery, you're going to have a digital twin, which is going to be operated to understand what's happening. And then you're going to put it on the human being. Imagine the explosion of that. So I'm just saying the number of jobs is going to be unreal. Today, because of AI, you could be sitting in a small village in any part of India and you could build $1 billion company with no employees. This is the best time to be a 18-year-old, in my
Hmm.
view, that you could have. We used to really need people, and therefore the explosion in innovation is going to be huge. I can keep going on.
Yeah, I mean, very fascinating, right? Digital twin, and uh, no, and of course, this is all at a very very young stage. There's so much work which is still required. You know, you remind me of one line that one of the other guests said on this podcast, and that was that future is not humanity minus AI. Future is humanity plus AI, right? So it's not like AI is going to make every human redundant. It's humans who have aligned themselves with AI and the tech. They're going to be more useful, they're going to be more productive, and they're going to have better jobs.
And I say that humans need to be more human.
Yeah,
And this is no plug,
yeah.
but you've got to make sure that human capabilities like empathy, compassion, love,
Creativity.
creativity,
Yeah.
relationships,
Hmm.
teamwork, leadership, all of these need to be accentuated in terms of the what. And therefore, where I see universities doing is, of course, you got to make sure that they understand AI and foundationally so that they can solve problems, but they need to focus on these aspects to grow them.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating. I'm very pro tech and pro, AI. But yeah, I mean, it's we are still at a very, it's a nascent stage, and
Yes.
we'll see how it develops. And I think that's a great future that picture of the future that you've painted. Uh, which brings me to another point about your university is that apart from being, India's first AI based university, you're also a green school. So how does on one hand we are talking about machines and tech and all that, and the other hand you're talking about sustainability. So how did this come about, and what are your views on the future, and where is uh, uh, how I think there's a huge role of AI even in sustainability,
Absolutely.
and the sort of ideas and the solutions that's going to come up. But I want to know your views, and
Sure.
what was that decision when you started your uh, college? What inspired you to
Sure.
be sustainable as well?
So we call ourselves a university with a soul.
Hmm.
Now we have only one planet, right? And the way it's getting degraded is horrible in terms of all the damage that the environment is doing. So very early on, when I was in the industry, I used to ask my management team, which were top professionals from all over the world, and they could think about sustainability is switch off the lights, turn off the tap. That
Hmm.
was the in 2009 when we were setting it up. And so then I said we got to be doubling down on this, because if we create the future, we need to have professionals who go into industry who will talk a different language. So we said we've got to work on the hard and the soft side of it. The hard is, of course, when we bought the land, it was no trees. Now we have planted more than 7,000 trees on it.
Wow.
At one point, 70% of our energy was solar. We have massive solar parks on the roof and on the ground. We rainwater harvesting, EVs. The walls you see of the campus are actually not where you see it. It's actually 1 foot inside, and there's drywall cladding to reduce the heat coming in, and therefore the air
The
conditioning
air
required,
conditioning.
and so on. So the thermos effect. So there are like every day we keep innovating, trying to see what can we implement. That's the hard side of it. Students have to see it, they have to see it, they have to experience it. Then we said we want to make the soft side. So whether you were learning finance, you got to be learning green finance, green marketing, green operations. And every student is given an SDG, a sustainable development goal,
Hmm.
which they have to perform against. They have to make an impact on the society through we got a smart project where they spend 10 days in the villages, informing on environment practices or health practices, education practices to the villagers. So there are lots of these things that we've put, and we've all made them credit courses.
Hmm.
Now we've come up with a new patent, which we are going to present to the Prime Minister's office, which will essentially help, hopefully, take 100 to 200 million people out of the poverty net. So
Wow.
that's the kind of innovation that our team has done. We're very happy, and we're going to show it to the PMO. Hopefully, they love it. So that's the whole ethos, that when our student walks out, he wears the green badge in his soul.
Hmm.
And when he or she goes into industry, he's talking the language, which is more holistic, not just profits, but profits, planet, and people.
Yeah, I like that. Three piece. Right. This brings me to another very interesting question. When you were talking about uh, the innovation that your students are doing, and you're going to present it to the Prime Minister's office. Uh, Now, these are a real innovation, right? Um, I've been very vocal about the quality of innovation that happens in this country. We are known for jugards, which is a quick fix, cheap quick fix. But you talk about, we just developed our first microchip. I read about it 2 days back. Uh, but in terms of real innovation, we don't have the top tech. Even in terms of social media. I mean, China has its own TikTok, but we don't have our own, which is like Indians are using. Then even in other fields, right? The sort of innovation that we see is not really world class. And what probably the innovation, maybe you can't talk in depth about over here, but how hopeful you are that the innovation which is going to come out of colleges and new leaders and this new student is going to be more global in nature. Like, for example, 2 days back, or 3 days back, there was a founders meet in Delhi, and I think some few hundred founders came together, and they were discussing how do we reduce air pollution in this country, right? And I thought that is real solution, right? That's real innovation which is going to help the country and probably the world. How hopeful you are with that, and do you see that sort of focus and push in your college?
So, absolutely. I think we are obviously one university. There are hundreds and close to 1,000 here. I think every university needs to follow this path. I think universities need to move the student population. And I think one thing missing if you ask me, in the education landscape is risk taking.
Hmm.
I think, and I know where it's coming from. The American civilization and the Europeans have done well. Now they can take more risks because they are richer civilizations. We are still looking
Yeah.
for jobs, and
Correct.
therefore the risk taking element is
Yeah.
not there. But I think we can leapfrog because we have a very strong technology base,
Mhm.
thanks to our engineering, IT base. If we can make sure that risk taking is rewarded in these institutions, then I can see a lot more advantages of many, many innovations coming out and products coming out. Right now, we have research written for the case of research. Why can't that research? China has moved that no research in any research journal is going to be incentivized. You need to come out with a product. That's a very bold move,
Yeah.
right? We're saying we don't want any research, we want products,
Hmm.
futuristic products which can help mankind and the civilization. So I think something like that, if that can be put in by the education world, is going to drive innovation to the next level. Let's encourage it. I know there's a lot being done on incubation centers being set up. So we are seeing green shoots, but there's miles to go.
Yeah,
We're
and it'll only happen with more school leaders like you thinking about it, talking about it on various platforms. Like, this is one of the
Yeah.
platform, but more platforms where we speak about real innovation, because I think a great new innovation also provides lakhs and lakhs of jobs, right? And it grows economy in a very different way. Uh, US is still a leader because of its innovation, right? They lead in innovation, and that's why they're still the largest economy. So superb. I mean, the sort of work that you and your team is doing. I mean, I think whatever said is less for it. And please congratulate your team and your
Thank you.
faculty. Uh, Coming back to uh, this is again more on the thinking level,
Yeah.
that uh, traditional way of learning was always memorizing, right? And it was giving the right answers. But with AI, it's not about giving the right answers, it's about asking the right questions, right? And that is a huge mindset shift, right? So how is your one is, I know student, they are the easiest to cope up with any new change, but how are the faculties coping up with this? Because it's no longer memorize something and provide the right answer.
So, clearly a lot of training needs to be done for faculty because they've come from traditional institutions where the standard was rote learning. So I think that that's something we do all the time. As I said, we keep pushing them, make your learning. We've even broken up the learning into four components to reduce the burden on our faculty. So we said classroom learning cannot be more than 50%. In fact, try and bring it down to below 40 and 30 as the academic year goes by. Then there's a component called experiential learning. Then there is a component called community learning, where you actually bring industry in, or you go to industry and learn, or go to seminars. And the final is self learning, because we want to create this concept of lifelong learning. And therefore, they need to go on these
Yeah.
digital platforms and learn, because there's just so much a university border there's much more knowledge and learning outside. So once you implement these four in any learning module, you've now consciously reduced the classroom
Hmm.
and reduce therefore the concept of where answers need to be learned. It's going to be experimentation, it's going to be trying new things, and that's what gets them to think more. The curious mind is going to ask many more questions. So I'm excited with the journey that we're taking.
Yeah, and then the final answer is the solution, right? If they're asking the right questions, then probably the product is the solution. And I think you guys already have something to
Yeah.
boast about and talk about it more. Uh, can you give us some more examples of uh, the profile of students? Do you also get people from or students from uh, say an underprivileged background, or difficult background, who's got into your college and they've done something different, or the sort of, because you know if everybody comes from the same socio-economic strata, then their thinking more or less is the same. But when you have people coming from different economic or social backgrounds, I know you told me 28 states and a few countries, but I mean that brings in the culture part. But I think socio-economic disparity brings in about a lot of different human angle to solving a problem. And do you have such examples uh, that you can share freely?
So we have students from 170 cities. That's tier one, tier two, tier
Tier three.
three,
Okay.
all the tiers possible,
Yeah,
right? When you go to
170.
one,
Yeah,
170. I haven't heard many of the names of those cities. I'm like,
probably.
okay, which state is that from?
Yeah.
So I think we cover that from the outset. And I think that is the richness of India, right? When you get every strata to come together, the underprivileged, the privileged, and they create magic together.
And they bring in their own perspectives and
Absolutely.
and all that. Superb. So my the whole idea of doing this podcast is, it's my personal quest of what education should be.
Correct.
Learning, of course, learning, as you said, is four aspects to learning, but one aspect never stops. That is self-learning, right?
Yeah.
It goes on till you die. And I, with this self-learning journey, and through me, probably more educators or students can learn while I chat with guests like you, and understand what is the meaning of real or true education. So what is your philosophy of what is the purpose of real education?
I think the first thing that it humbles you. It's all about humility, because there's just so much out there to learn. It's just nobody knows everything, right? And
Hmm.
nobody will know. So I think that's the first thing: to be humble, to be
Hmm.
open, that yes, I'm open to discovering my area of interests. And then there's an ocean of learning there. And then being able to experiment with it. So that's the whole idea of experiential learning. Have fun with your learning. I think if you can do these steps, you're in a good place.
Yeah, and I think the economic part will take care of itself, right? Because if you are really good at what you've learned, what you've discovered, then there'll be many people who would want to associate with you and offer you some reward for
Correct.
your. So
India is a land of opportunity. It's
opportunity.
just
Yeah,
incredible. Every corner of every street, there's an opportunity to be had.
yeah.
So ideas, whether you don't have to have that, you know, deep mind idea, you can have a small idea
Small
which will
idea.
solve it. And there's just customers for everything. That's why everybody and their pops are coming to India, because they know this is the land of opportunity.
Yeah, I think everybody's pretty bullish about India, and uh, the people I think who need to be the most bullish about India is educators and leaders like you, because as you rightly said, if right amount of time, money, and involvement is given in education, then the future for India is going to be even brighter. I definitely feel that the vision of Viksit Bharat can only happen if educators are looked at with more uh, trust, because I do see that missing sometimes when you are dealing with certain section of the policymakers, and they do sort of feel why is somebody as successful as Mr. Tarun Anand quitting everything and getting into education. So that slight suspicion is there.
Yes.
Instead of welcoming educators with open arms and saying that, hey, you are the guys who are going to lead India to Viksit Bharat. You've had such experiences. We don't want to go much negative, but what is your personal view about it? You've been accepted with open arms, or
No, so it's been a tough journey. So, 70% of Indian education is owned by either the government or
hmm,
politicians.
hmm,
20% by the haves. When I
hmm.
say the big industry houses, I'm not going to name one,
Yeah, yeah,
because they are the big giants.
yeah,
So we fall in that 10% category, where we are innovative people who've quit our careers and gone into education. So it is hard because you don't have the political power, you
yeah,
don't have the might of funds like the
yeah,
giants, the big industry houses. So it's a struggle. And then when you get to the regulatory stage, and then they look at you and say you're private,
yeah,
that's a might be an issue. So that has happened to us as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. So I mean, for people, for regulators or government bodies, or welfare ministry, if I don't know if they're watching it, but if they're watching it, we need more support and more love. I think we definitely, people like Tarun and many educators that I've called on the show, really passionate people. They want to do the best for the country. Uh, you won't find more patriotic people than this, who really want to change India. So more support and love needed. Um, so yeah, I mean, this was fascinating that you at least are very open about discussing this, because a lot of people I talk to, they just want to avoid the topic there. Yeah, forget it. These are problems, but I don't want to discuss this. But no, I mean, if we don't discuss problems, then they'll never be solved.
Correct.
And it's not like everybody from the regulatory body is
No.
is looking at educators in a bad way. I mean, we have all kinds of people. So so final question is, how do you see, I know we spoke about the future, and so what is the future that you see of, one is your university. Do you plan to open more such universities in other states? uh, what is your vision, say, in next 5 years, next 10 years, next 15 years?
Firstly, I'd like to give a shout out to the government of Maharashtra, which gave us this opportunity to set up a AI university. Then we signed an MOU with the Honorable Chief Minister Mitra to do projects for the government of Maharashtra, and then to train a lot of the top echelons, the secretary level at the Mantralaya. So we can see that there are pro, education, pro AI governments who realize this is the future. So, having said that, for us, the big opportunity is, we are very clear we're not going to have another campus. Uh, we have been invited by multiple parts of the country to set up campuses. That's fine. Those who do it, great for
Hmm.
them. There's only one Harvard, there's only
Hmm.
one Wharton, there's only one MIT. There must be a reason for that.
Yeah.
So we want to become a high impact, high value, small university. Um, we would aspire to get to around 5,000 students, and that's it. But we want to do courses which are um, not the traditional. So when we started our sound engineering program, it doesn't exist in India. We partnered with Sonu Nigamji and we created the best studio that exists in any campus
Wow.
in the country. So that's something where we realize there's a huge opportunity there to train and to teach. We're now thinking of getting into sports sciences because I think as incomes rise, whilst people have incomes and they spend on
Hmm.
these bands in music, sports is going to become the next big
Big
thing.
thing. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
these are areas we want to get into, niche, small, but high impact.
High impact. And you said just one college?
Just one university in India. Probably we'll do an international campus.
Yeah.
We've been funnily invited by one international government. In fact, we are the only university which has been given a red carpet, all paid for, to set up a campus in the Gulf.
Wow, that's
So
brilliant.
we
That's
are
brilliant.
considering that opportunity. India is obviously inviting foreign universities. We are the first Indian university to be
yeah,
invited by a foreign government.
What a great honor.
So we are looking forward to that opportunity. So there might be international,
Yeah.
and I think the value of that is our students will get a chance to study in a
Spend
different
some semesters there.
location.
They can come and
Absolutely.
spend some semesters here. Plus faculty exchange.
Absolutely.
I do see a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
So we spoke about so many things about your university. We spoke about future. We spoke about AI. But I'm sure along your journey, there would be one decision, good or bad, that you would like to share, which which made your journey, say, amazing, or it took few years away from your goals.
So for us, that decision, which was, my board was not too pleased with it, was to bring India's first American to come in and be the vice chancellor of our campus, of our university. And he comes from the number one university in the world by miles, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Boston. So he comes from there. And to me, that is our Brahmastra, which decision which many people were not in favor of, wondering whether he would settle in India and so on. I think he is a game changer for us. Besides understanding the education practices of the best universities in the world, which you can go there as well, you can actually play American football on our campus. Now, that doesn't happen on any campus in India. So he creates the culture. He creates he created our mascot. So he does all the fun stuff which we are grateful for.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, people coming from different countries do bring in a slice of their culture. So the students are also getting a global, sort of idea of what the world is and, the culture around the world. So great. So it was great talking to you. Thank you very much for coming. I mean, I've learned a lot today. I hope it was equally satisfying or, chat for you. Um, uh, so that brings us to the end of our episode of Education Matters by JK. Please like, share, or comment. And for students who are watching, if you would like to know more about the university, if you would like to know more about the admission process, the first few students who comment with their names or just comment and share their email IDs, we will reach out to you and they will get a special tour of the entire campus, understanding the sort of curriculum which is available, the sort of courses that are available. So start typing, start commenting, and probably you'll get to go to the university. So thank you very much for watching. That was the end of the show.